The blade cut deep, piercing the outer surface and entering the soft layers hidden beneath. The outer shell bore no resistance to the sharp edge as it slit it wide open. A smile etched itself into Cyrus's face as he gazed down at the blade making its incisions. "Cyrus," a voice cut in, bringing him to attention. "You want a slice of cake?" "No, thanks. Just a cup of soda, if that's all right," Cyrus replied. "All right, but it's not often we have cake for someone's birthday," the voice continued. Cyrus just nodded, picked up his cup, and started back to his desk. The clock read 4:30 p.m. on Cyrus's computer as he leaned back in his chair and took a deep breath, allowing his body to slouch. The time wound down dreadfully slow as he clicked the small X and watched each program disappear from the screen in preparation to head home. It had been a long day at work, as was every first of the month. He glanced at the clock again. 4:31 p.m. He groaned. "Joe wants to see you before you head home," his friend Dave announced from behind him. He turned around to see Dave at his own desk, packing up his things and sorting papers into manila folders. Dave and Cyrus had been stuck at the same job together for years now. Strangely enough, they had actually met at the supermarket a few days before starting work together in the records department at City Hall. They often joked about how they would eventually break out of their dead-end City Hall jobs, or, as Dave claimed, he would become mayor himself and make Cyrus his right-hand man. "I wonder what Joe wants," Cyrus asked as he tossed a piece of paper into the garbage. "I'm not in the mood for his crap today." "Who knows? There always seems to be something we're doing wrong," Dave responded in an annoyed tone. Joe, their boss, had started work only a week after Cyrus and Dave and had somehow managed to get promoted. Ever since then, he had been riding them about everything they did. Dave had a theory that he did it on purpose to rub his position in their face, and Cyrus didn't think that idea was very far off. Cyrus got up and began working his way to Joe's office. When he got there, the door was closed, so he knocked. "It's Cyrus. I was told to come see you," Cyrus said to the door. There was no response, so he pressed his ear up against the door and knocked with the knuckle of his middle finger. After a short pause and no response, he leaned in again, but just as he did, the door handle turned, almost causing Cyrus to fall forward. A man walked out, his face red and eyebrows cocked. He tossed a fake smile at Cyrus as he walked past him. "Come in," Joe said, signaling Cyrus into the room with the curl of his finger. "Nobody can follow the rules around here," Joe continued as he gestured out the door toward the man that had just left the room. "We are all supposed to be adults here. It's ridiculous. Anyway, sit down." "I'm not really sure what I did to be brought in here, Joe," Cyrus replied as he took a seat in front of Joe's desk. As he tapped his pen on the palm of his hand, Joe let out an exaggerated sigh. He tossed the pen onto the desk, where it landed with a soft thump. He leaned back in his chair and looked at Cyrus. "Were you late this morning?" Joe asked, locking his hands together tightly. "No," Cyrus shook his head slightly. "Yes, I think you were," Joe insisted. "No, I wasn't late." Cyrus clenched his fist in an attempt to keep his cool. Joe turned his computer around and pointed at the monitor. "Well, that's weird, because the time clock says you were late by 4 minutes. Is the time clock lying, Cyrus?" Joe responded in a cocky manner. "It's 4 minutes, Cyrus said, holding back what he was really thinking. He was contemplating hitting Joe in the face, but all that would get him was a one-way ticket to the unemployment line. "Yeah, 4 minutes later than you were supposed to be here. Schedules were made for a reason, so let's start following them unless the schedule you want to follow involves looking for a new job." Joe rifled back while picking up a pen and writing something down. "Now get out of my office and back to work. You still have 10 minutes left."